We're going to do a full breakdown on this game. Let's talk about what the Bengals need to do to win. I'm going to name a couple things where I actually give you my prediction of what's going to happen this Sunday. So about what the Bengals need to do. I'm going to name 3 things that the Bengals need to do to win this football game. Number 1 thing is they've got to keep Joe Burrow up. He cannot be getting sacked as much as he has been getting sacked this postseason. Really, this whole season. This whole time in Cincinnati. I mean, that's how he got fucking hurt last year. And this offensive line is their main concern. And yes, I know I had somebody tweet me, well, Scott, Burrow got sacked 9 times against Tennessee and it didn't matter. They still won. And yes, that's my concern because this fucking defensive line they got on the Rams is not the Tennessee Titans. Aaron Donald has a great chance to solidify himself in that GOAT conversation of greatest defensive player ever if he wins the Super Bowl this year. You've got Von Miller, who's hands down changed the complexion of Super Bowl 50 when the Broncos beat the Panthers. Completely took Cam Newton out of his rhythm and didn't have him looking like the MVP he was that season. Now, of course, Von's not the same guy that he was, but he's had a pretty damn good postseason. You've got a guy, Leonard Floyd, who was not the top 9 pick that the Bears wanted him to be, but he's still a very reliable member of that defensive line, and he's been making plays. So they have to keep him upright. If he's getting sacked and getting hit, I don't think they're going to have a chance in this game. They need to be able to keep him, moving and limit the times he's going to get. You can't shut down Aaron Donald in that defensive line. Well, if you can limit it to like 2 or 3 sacks, you know what I'm saying? You can really limit what they can do and actually give yourself a chance to win this game. So that'd be the number 1 thing that I would say they need to do. Number 2, we have to be shut down the running game. You have to shut down Cam Akers. You have to shut down Sonny Michel. You need to make this into a passing only game for the Los Angeles Rams, because then if the run is if they're able to run the football and Cam Akers gets busy and Michelle gets busy, it's going to open up the pass. You're going to really get into Sean McVay's bag, and that's going to be trouble for this defense, which I feel like the story that nobody's talking about, or at least not that much when we're talking about breaking down the Super Bowl and things of that nature, is this Bengals defense has been really, really fucking good. Nobody's talking about it. The defensive line has been good. The secondary has been good. I mean, Eli Apple has been even locking up. So that's going to be a big key. I mean, this is a defense that feels disrespected, that nobody's talking about them. This is a defense they'll Patrick Mahomes and that fucking Kansas City Chiefs defense to 3 points in the second half and in overtime. So I feel like they're going to be able to have their way with Matthew Stafford if they get the chance. So shut down the run is the number 1 thing they need to do, which leads to my 3rd and final point for the Bengals to win this game: force turnovers. If you can get Matthew Stafford uncomfortable, and as we can see in just the history of Matthew Stafford, and even in these playoffs, you get him uncomfortable, he's gonna give you a chance to win the game. I mean, the thing that pissed me off the most about the NFC Championship game was everybody up here praising Matt Stafford. He gave the game to them. The game was literally in Tart's hand, and he dropped it. So what you need to be able to do, you need to take advantage of that and make him throw the ball, put him in uncomfortable situations, and have him question himself. If he can question himself and get back to that old school Matt Stafford way of playing ball, you give yourself an amazing chance to win this game. So those are 3 things that I feel that the Bengals need to do to win the Super Bowl. Now let's go on to the Rams. It's really short and simple here for the Rams for me, because I do feel like they're the better team on paper. And it's real simple to me. Play that game. Play the game. Don't turn the fucking football over. If Matthew Stafford can not turn the ball over, if they can, if Cam Akers, if he can keep the ball, he had a couple fumbles in his playoffs already. If he can keep the ball, then that gives yourself a real good chance. And then you can give the ball to Cooper Kupp. Odell gets open. It really opens up the offense. You know what I'm saying? And that would be the number 1 thing that they have to do. I don't want to say it's the Rams Super Bowl to lose, because I feel like that would be disrespecting Cincinnati and everything that they've accomplished this season in this incredible playoff run. But at the same time, I feel like if they do lose this game, it's mainly because they beat themselves. So they just need to keep it simple. Don't outcoach yourself, McVay, which is what he was doing like a motherfucker in the NFC Championship game. Him and Shanahan was having an idiot off that whole 4th quarter. Keep it simple. KYP. know your personnel, give the ball to Cooper Kupp. That opens up for Odell Beckham. Run the football and don't turn the ball over. If they can do these things, I think not only can they win, but they can run away with this thing. So that's real short and simple for the LA Rams, man. So let's get into my Super Bowl prediction. I thought about this for a long time, and honestly, I didn't actually pick till last night. This one could go either way. I think the spread is like 3 or 4 points. Don't quote me on that. I'm not the best when it comes to Vegas odds, but if I'm not mistaken, that's what it was. This game can go one or two ways, and I don't think it's gonna be either way. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be anything in between. It's either gonna be a blowout by the Rams, or it's gonna be a super close game that the Bengals win. And I understand that the Bengals have come back multiple times this year. I mean, they came back, amazing comeback in the AFC Championship game. I just feel with everything going on, they can't afford that to happen this time. And I'm going to pick, with everything going on, all the pressure on the Rams, I'm going to pick the Rams. I'm going to pick the Rams to win this game because I just think it's their time. I think Sean McVay is going to learn from the mistakes he made in the Super Bowl a couple years ago. I think this defense is ready. I think this defense is relentless. I think that Jalen Ramsey can I won't say he'll shut down Jamar because I feel like Jamar can still get busy. And I think Jamar can still make a play or two. I mean, even look, Mike Evans was able to, take advantage of a Jalen play. But Jalen's going to be a guy who's going to be ready. He's going to be ready for Jamar Chase. And I just think there's just too much going on. I just feel like they're the better team, and I feel like they will win this football game. It would not surprise me if the Bengals win. And actually, I'm going to be rooting for the Bengals because I want my Matthew Stafford agenda to continue to live on. And also, I just don't like LA sports fans. This is keep it a buck. I don't. And I just feel like, the Bengals would be a cooler story. You got a franchise who, they've got a loyal fan base. They've been through so much, and now they finally have an opportunity to win. I just think it'd be a better story. And that's nothing against Matthew Stafford, anything like that. And I don't have any particular beef with Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford has never done anything to me. I mean, the Bears kicked the shit out of him when he was in our division. I just, know what kind of guy he has shown he is. So I have no problem with him per se, but I just would prefer to see, how cool it would be to see Joe Burrow hoist that trophy. And this is a great opportunity for Joe Burrow to, put his flag up. Like, all y'all talking about Mahomes, like I beat him in his crib. And now I got a ring. We 1-1 in rings now. I need to be dealt with. So he can do that. But ultimately, I just think that they're the more experienced team, the Rams. They're going to be the more prepared team. They've been here before. And I just think they just got way too much firepower. And I think the biggest thing with the Chiefs, they were smelling themselves too much. I think that was, and that's not taking anything away from the Bengals win, but they were cocky. You can see how they moved in, right before halftime. You can see how they moved on that final drive where they was in the red zone, and they just really completely fucked up that. It was bad time. It was vintage Andy Reid clock management at the end of that game. Let's keep it real. They didn't take the Bengals seriously. And I don't think that's going to be the issue. I think everybody knows what kind of threat the Bengals are. And I do feel the Rams are going to take them seriously. And as long as Matthew Stafford does not turn the ball over, they should win this football game. And I'm going to give them a 10-point win. I'm not going to put what the number's going to be, but I do think they're going to win by at least 10 points. I think it'll be, a good game. A good game, no. So that's all I have for NFL. I love the Super Bowl. Like, the Super Bowl is bittersweet because it's the big game. Everybody loves it. Even people who don't watch football, this is the one game of the season they watch. So I always love the Super Bowl. But it's kind of depressing too. I know, man, we don't have any more football. There's gonna be no more games played for like another 6 months. And granted, the NFL is a 24/7 league now. You got the draft, you got the combine in a couple weeks. Free agency is gonna be in a month. And before you know it, the draft will be right there. And then of course it'll be training camp. Before you know it, right back at it. But it's a little disappointing, a little sad, and this is gonna be the last game. So I just hope it's a good one for us, man.